You're telling me half
Yeah.
a million people have to start over from ground zero just because they got sick? That's absolutely preposterous.
We're back. It is the Foolish Optimist Podcast. I'm your host, Amy McDonald. I'm so excited that you're here. We are on the hunt for the next generation of leaders in the United States. And wherever you're listening, if you haven't already subscribed or liked or even, rated the podcast, that would be a huge help. Today, our guest is Kyah Creekmore. He is running in North Carolina's U.S. House District 5. He is a 24-year-old Gen Z organizer and change maker. He is running on universal health care, fully funded schools, including six-figure teacher salaries, and getting corruption out of Washington, D.C. Kyah, thanks for being here.
Hey, nice to be here.
So we start this podcast off the same way every time. Why are you running in 2026?
I'm running because we have a severe lack of leadership. We have people that are too scared to make any bold decisions. Our left is many countries' center. We don't actually do anything that's for the people unless it's fake and incremental and often very small programs that only benefit a very certain set of people, which just divides us more. I think that people just want someone that's also sincere and comes from backgrounds that they can relate to. Me personally, my mom actually had me at 15. She was assaulted. Many people have gone through those kind of stories. And that's important that people come from a background that is hard. She was assaulted, had me at 15. I have three siblings, four of us, and I grew up on food stamps. Grew up on Section 8. I grew up on all the government programs. I bounced house to house to house to house all throughout my childhood. I graduated having went to 9 different schools. It wasn't like your traditional childhood. There wasn't no stability whatsoever. We were fighting for everything that we had every single year. And my mom's still fighting to this day. And that breaks my heart. And I was supposed to be the get out. I was supposed to have gotten my peoples out of this struggle. She was doing everything, hoping that I'll go graduate and then she don't have to work no more. She can just relax. And unfortunately, that hasn't happened. But I have bigger aspirations to create policy that will allow her to do it herself. She can then get it from by her bootstraps. She won't need me to go and fund her whole entire vacation. She'll just be able to do so because the opportunities there will be giving opportunity to those who have been historically left out and marginalized
that's a really
long
interesting
time.
point that you made, right? Like when we're talking about creating policy that's actually inclusive and accessible to everybody, that is what everyone loves to call, you have to pull yourself up from your bootstraps. But like when we don't actually give people any sort of tools or any sort of bootstraps, if you will, then it's so many people don't recognize that. They're like, well, I have boots, therefore everyone else does. And you're like, actually, the vast majority of the country doesn't have boots right now.
Right. And the worst part is that they use that phrase against the marginalized Black, brown, and poor whites. But it's like, how do you create policies that consistently take the floor from beneath us and then tell us to keep walking? How do you do that? You untie our shoes and then say, don't trip. And then laugh at us when we don't make it and call us lazy while you're like running off with millions of extra dollars. It's just unfathomable, like how they've gone on so long convincing us of this absolutely preposterous lie.
That's the other part. The like gaslighty fucking nature of all of it is unbelievable. They're like, we don't understand why you're sick. And you're like, well, I haven't taken a day off of work since I was 15 and I've worked 2 or 3 jobs and I haven't had a vacation ever. And that's why I'm ill and my healthcare won't pay for it.
Look, my mom right now, when I call her, sometimes I don't get a call back because she's literally going like on day 8 of working with no day off. She's telling me consistently she doesn't have that much money to do really anything except go to work, sleep, and then go back to work. And I'm like, this is my mom. What system we've created has completely rug pull even a relationship for my mom as an adult
Right.
from me and her. I don't have the facilities to go ahead and remove her from some of those days. And that hurts my heart. I got three siblings. One of them is already an adult. The other two, they're just graduated early, which I'm so proud of her. The other one's trying to graduate early, but I don't even have the facilities to also help them as well. They're
Yeah.
growing up in this whole world without their mom to be able to like, walk them into it, guide them.
Right.
She's too busy, wrapped up in a work-life balance that literally has negative balance and all of her sweat equity. It's just crazy.
Yeah. So your mom's about my age, right?
Yeah.
And yeah. And so, like, realistically, I've been having this conversation with a ton of millennials and like elder millennials and kind of the like lies that were sold to us and all this shit. And it's we as a generation, we're also gaslit to high heaven. They were like, you guys are lazy, you don't want to work. And I was living in New York as like a young adult, and I was like, everyone I know has 3 jobs. Every single person. Like, literally, I'm like, I've got like friends in finance who are still babysitting on the side because it's so fucking expensive to live here and they can't afford to live with our generation specifically, and obviously yours because you follow us. But we got fucking whomped, and I'm so excited to see young people stepping up and saying we shouldn't live this way. Because
I want to actually add one more thing. A family and a couple of people that specifically have moved from places like New Jersey and New York down here thinking it's way cheaper. And the same story goes
oh,
everywhere.
it's
If you go
everywhere.
from up
Yeah,
there with a bunch of money, but then everything costs way more, and you come back down here with a different job, you're going to
yeah,
make so much less. And then they feel like slaves down here, like literally. They're
yeah,
like, what? The difference is astounding. I had family going from making 27 at the same exact job, same position,
yeah.
coming down here to make 17. It's
That's
like
insane. How
like the
can you
same
possibly?
job.
How can you possibly like? That's why everyone has 3 jobs. Truly, like people are like busting their ass constantly, and then
Literally.
literally people are laughing, saying like, "Why can't you make it?"
I have a teacher that's also, she's doing Uber in the
Yeah.
free time. And I'm like, that's absolutely preposterous. I've never, when I was growing up, now maybe it was still always just as bad as a little kid, but when I
Hmm.
was growing up, and it's not that long ago, my teachers just teached. I didn't know about any teachers that were doing Uber Eats
Right.
in their free time, like trying to make ends meet, like just trying to get by the very bare minimum. And
Yeah.
I'm hearing these kind of stories across the board. It's like in professions that take so much time and energy,
Yes.
especially teaching
Teaching is
outside of
insane.
just the
Yeah.
building. And then you have to then still create curriculums while you're driving your car trying to
Yeah.
get somebody's DoorDash order.
I know.
Like,
I know. Well, in teaching, of course, there's like a sexism aspect to teaching and why we don't pay teachers much, which is really annoying. My mom is a teacher and she has her PhD now. She taught for 40 years, went back and got her PhD. And like, even as a PhD, it's 15 years of schooling. She's got almost 50 years of experience. They're still not paying them enough money. It's like and and I know it's in part because it's dominated by women, but I don't know if you saw that list that Congress recently approved of all of the like
oh
non-professional.
yeah,
It's like
nurses,
it's all things that women dominate.
yeah, women and minorities.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what all of us have been coming up in and getting into to really get out of our
Right.
situations to get us out of impoverishedness. They're like, how can we make it harder for you guys?
I mean, it's exactly what you said. They just yanked the rug, like the ground out from underneath. Especially, I mean, nurses and physicians, assistants, and these jobs that are like so critical
We
for the world
needed
to go
them.
round.
COVID just happened. Like
Yeah.
you're pretending this stuff didn't just happen. How critical all these different people are,
Yeah.
all these professions, and they're like, how do we make life harder? And then lie about it. And then that's what they came up with. Threw it at the wall.
Yeah.
It didn't stick. And they picked it back up and then gave it to us.
Great. It's pretty. I'm very excited for 2026. I'm very excited for people like you running, like really young people and like millennials and just people who have existed in the real world in the last 5 years, 10 years. I mean, things have changed so much since COVID that like people who became candidates and became like elected officials in 2020, I'm like, you don't know what it's like. The last 5 years inflation has skyrocketed, wages. During that time between 2020 and 2025, I was working a full-time job and they reduced my salary while I was working. Yeah, that's legal in where I was. And I was just like, awesome. I left shortly thereafter. I was like,
I was gonna say,
shockingly, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
shockingly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear so many insane stories and I'm like, I just wouldn't take that. But for a lot of people, a lot of families, it's literally their only source of income in a
Yeah.
terrible job market that is absolutely
I know. I was
just
a single
opportunities.
person, no kids, no pets. And I was like, I have to leave or I'm going to light someone on fire. And if I have to eat ramen for 3 months, so be it. You know, I can survive on ramen. Will my cholesterol spike? Yeah, whatever. But it was one of those things that I was like, I'm going to go to jail if I don't leave this job. But I get it, right? Can I ask when you're turning 25?
It would actually be 3 months before the next year's general election.
Okay,
So
so like
August 8th,
September, August. Okay,
August
cool.
8th. Yeah,
And would that
it's
make you the
extremely
youngest
exciting.
person in,
I was looking at the list. There's actually a bunch of old white guys that
oh,
hit that list way
back in
younger
ye
than
olden
the
days?
Constitution allowed. So unfortunately, I won't be that young on the
Yeah,
top of that list. But for modern politicians, I hate
yeah,
that word. Yeah, I'd be pretty much the youngest, if not the very youngest.
yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, like back in the old days when they were all dying at 40, they needed like 22-year-old. They were like,
Yeah,
oh
a
God,
genius
you're
comes
getting
young,
old. Show
guys.
up.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so let's talk a little bit about your district specifically for people who aren't from North Carolina. I am from North Carolina, but for people who aren't from North Carolina, where is District 5? Who represents them right now? And then we'll ask some
Okay,
more questions.
so District 5 is in a northwest part of border of North Carolina. It has 10 counties, 8 of which are Appalachian, over 100,000 students. Has like Watauga County, Ashe, Rockingham, Surrey, Stokes, a little bit of Guilford because they have to grab black
They're like,
people, yeah, and split them up.
yeah.
And
Oh, I'm laughing
there's a
because
couple
it's
more.
true. I'm
Right.
laughing because I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what
I
they
mean, the
fucking did.
Supreme Court said it's absolutely okay to be a white supremacist organization openly by
I well,
validating the Texas maps
I
yesterday.
saw that literally right before we jumped on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, calling it what it is now is not an option. We can't just sugarcoat it or
Yeah.
pretend. So, yeah, they grabbed black people from Guilford and got
Yeah.
a real nice smidge of Greensboro, like 90%. But, they're splitting it up between 3 different districts. So,
That's exactly what they
um,
did in Nashville. Nashville's split between 3 as well. And it's fucking you're right. It is. It's like classic white supremacy and it's trying to dilute voting power, which people are so fucking dense that they're like, well, that's not voter suppression. And I'm like, did you not hear the word dilute? Do you not know what dilute means? Do I need to buy you a dictionary? I'm worried about your fucking brain. They're trying to fuck people over. That is voter
right.
suppression.
That's voter suppression.
Yeah. But people are like,
The last
it has
part.
to be like, people are like, it has to be, it has to be violent or it has to be like voting booths shutting
Right.
down. That's voter suppression. I'm like, there's a million ways to voter suppress. You're doing that
That's
too.
that's an extraordinary point we have to get on when we get later into some policy.
Yeah.
That they always talk about political violence when some right wing racist white supremacist podcaster gets shot, but never when they take away food stamps and Section 8 housing from millions and then crime shoots into the moon, and then
And they're
immigrants
like,
are also the
what could
problem
have
again.
possibly happened here?
So what? There's more crime? I thought
Oh
we were
my
just balancing the
God.
budget, fiscal
It's,
conservatism.
it's
Shut your ass up, man.
the narrow definition of violence that we hold in our mind is actually like going to ruin us, right? And I have these conversations with people all the time. I'm like, violence isn't always physical violence. It can be like, it can be signing violence by the stroke of a pen is fucking violence, right?
Like
Like
360 deals in music industry. Oh my God.
violence.
Oh my
Absolute.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, truly. And what you just explained with Snap, and obviously, like when we decided, I say we, when the government decided in the 90s, the three strikes rule for prison and things like that, that's violence. Yeah,
Violence
obviously physical violence once they get to prison, but that is violence. It's ripping communities apart, and that's violence
intentionally,
on
all
purpose
orchestrated.
by the government, by the fucking. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're
Oh,
talking. Yay. Everything's fine. We're going to change everything. Everything is going to get changed.
look, look, you see my platform. It got a lot there. I have a
Yeah.
vision for America bigger than anything they ever thought, even pretended to have.
Give me your top like three favorite things from your platform.
One of them I haven't drafted fully. I haven't put it on my platform yet, but I wanted to draft up a workers' constitution. It's centered around 90 pages till I add the rest and organize it,
Yeah, of course.
just kind of draft it. But it goes through a whole list of things that fundamentally are inarguably human rights when we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about we're just other animals on the earth. I mean, having
We're
access to
naked,
food is
naked
kind of a
animals.
human right.
Yeah.
I can't say it too loud. I might start paying attention. Making water a human right. Why is it
Yes.
in certain
Yeah.
places water can just be pretty much like a foregone thought? Like maybe you'll just
But
grow up and have to drink water bottles your whole life because your water fountain and your faucet has like disgusting lead and
brown.
it's
Yeah.
brown and it's like
Yeah.
yucky and stinks. That makes no sense. In a world where they intentionally created all our roads to be because we were lobbied by the car manufacturers.
Industry. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
like cars are a mandatory piece. Like it's necessary. It's infrastructure necessary to human civilization now.
Yeah.
And people, they're just okay with like entire swaths of people not having any access to transportation. Can't meet your family, your friends. Most people will never
Right.
ever see the DC, all that good stuff. It just makes these things inarguable human rights. It puts, content creators' rights as well, because then platforms can't pretend they're just users and then basically
Right.
steal all of their content, make a bunch of money off of a bunch of random people's non-viral videos and people's
Right.
viral videos too.
Well, and that's what they're doing with AI. Of course, they're like doing this thing where they're sort of trying to
They won't
manufacture
even need people's.
consent. Yeah. And everyone, while you're listening, go into your Instagram or your Meta settings and go opt out of their AI, like right now. Do that right now. And if you don't know how to do it, Google it. It'll give you step-by-step instructions. Let's choke their AI. Fuck it. Oops.
I mean, I breezed through the
Sorry.
other ones. I feel like I'm long-winded. My healthcare proposal, I like that's just my baby. I'm in love with it because it's basically the entire foundation of a new nation. I'll be real. It takes many parts, or at least is inspired by many parts of other countries' healthcare systems. In Japan is like hyper privatized, and there's certain things that go on there that just don't work, or I don't want to work with here because everything's already privatized.
Right.
Like Canada, like the wait times are just so long, even though you don't pay for anything. It's like we don't even get to schedule them,
I was
let
about to
alone
say,
wait.
people argue that all the time, and I had the best insurance I've ever had, literally in my entire life. Best insurance I've ever had. It was Aetna, it was Aetna. I still had to wait 11 months to get in to see a neurologist. So don't fucking tell me that I mean, literally, I was paying more for health insurance than I'd ever had in my life. And then,
Yeah.
but like people
Uh,
always make that argument, and I'm like, our private system is not better.
no, exactly.
Sorry.
It, like I said, re-envisions America kind of from the ground up. This policy is so over-encompassing, at least in its goals, because it would require a lot of taxing the rich, because fuck them, and it ensures that there's a private equity vulture tax, like private equity buys up all of our private practices and other hospitals. They buy them up, they run them into the ground, they reduce how many workers there, they increase stress, they higher the mortality rate of all the patients, and then they bankrupt it and then basically let the
Sell it,
building
like sell
just
it for
die with,
parts. Yeah.
yeah, but let the building die with all the debt on it, not on private equity, on it. They leverage buy it. And I think that's absolutely insane. It also seeks to go ahead and resurrect all of our dead hospitals, because over the years, seeing there's protests over getting your hospital closed, which shouldn't
Yeah.
be like a debatable thing. People shouldn't just lose care because the CEO didn't make enough
Well,
money this year.
but that's the problem when it's privatized, is that these they're expecting hospitals to turn a profit every year. And
Yes,
what do you mean? What do you mean?
and
Like
that
how do
that
we
part,
turn profits when we're talking about people living and dying?
I specifically, and I always say this, is flipping the incentive. I feel like I say it till I'm blue in the face, but flipping the incentive. Everything in our life right now is basically profit first. People, that's it. I mean, that's it. I mean,
Truly.
there's you can sugarcoat it. You can say all these nice little politician words. It's profit first. People die. That's it. And I'm like, I don't know, grand idea. Maybe we say people should live.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Crazy. And enforce all of our hospitals to just be funded, period. And the way that you get more funding, the way you get raises, all that stuff comes from a higher life expectancy, from your patients being healthier day to day to day. They're doing less bad habits like smoking and drinking. They're
Right.
you actually focusing on their health and preventing bad things from happening, from education and proper evaluations.
Right.
Right now, they hear a problem, they're like, so do you want 4 pills or 3 pills?
So here's the thing. You can tell me what you think about this, because I spend most of my time learning about US history, and everything we've ever done in US history. The United States is the most short-sighted bullshit in the world. And I see it reflected in our medical system. Rather than saying, hey, what are you doing to take care of your body? Do you have enough time off of work to move your body ever? Or do you have access to healthy food? Instead, they're just like, take some pills. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's driving me insane.
I see, and unfortunately, I'm not president because would love if we like ever pretended there was an emergency that wasn't like strictly economic or some kind of corporate interest
Yeah.
or some like war that we want to like pretend is real so we can, take over someone
Invade.
else's country and take their oil. But I would love if like our government ever pretended there is national emergencies, and they always use their national emergency powers to ensure that certain sections of our daily lives are absolutely reconciled with. Mental health is an absolute crisis. Not having time, that
Yeah.
also goes into mental health. Having enough
Yeah.
money goes into mental health. Those also go in your economic health. All those have a health, so to speak, and we don't care what people's standard of health is. And we don't actually invest in it whatsoever. And even like the public trust, the health of the public trust, we don't invest in any kind of health unless it's some corporate douchebags health of his pockets.
Yeah.
Does it have overflowing money, or does he have a nice safe behind him full of all his money that's overflowing? I
So he
mean,
can
which one?
Scrooge McDuck into it. But the crazy thing about all this is everything you just said would create a stronger economy. The
That's it.
irony is that if people are healthy, if people are able to follow their dreams, if they get enough sleep, like if there's a work-life balance, they're going to be able to do a higher caliber of work, and they're going to make the country better.
And that's it's so
Short-sighted.
it's so insane because I'm like, I say this to people all the time as well. It's like our politics, it's almost like the history only started today ago. And every single person only makes a decision as if
Based,
it's only happening
yeah,
goddamn today. What are we doing? Like they pretend as though there wasn't all these stripes for this. They're acting
right,
as though there wasn't all these
right,
social programs way back here. They act like Social Security was just the grandest idea our founding fathers came up with in 1777. They were like, you know what? Our poor people actually need it all. Give a damn about poor people. We had to fight for
right,
that way back when, and
right,
then establish a social safety. And they pretend all these things are just things that happen. They don't ever, of course,
right.
mention them because it's convenient. And then they find other ways to ruin all the programs that are just like these programs
Yeah.
and pretend like they're just not equals. They're not the same thing. There's no evidence of anything that works. There's no facts. There's no studies. And everything happened yesterday. So when there was one person that died on a train and it happened to be a white woman, well, that's every reason that we should make sure illegals get out the country. I don't know why that immigrant was even here to begin with and get them out. And so what are we doing? If that's
Our
your whole
country,
politics,
our
what are
country
you
has
doing?
only survived because of immigrants. Like truly, we
Our
like the
country
actual
couldn't
United States.
exist
Yeah.
unless us immigrants came over,
Yeah.
and some of us weren't allowed to be humans, and
Yeah.
some of us were. But every one of us was immigrants. And
Yeah.
unless you're a Native American, Cherokee or what have
One
you,
of the
you're
hundreds of
just,
tribes that we tried to I say we, the people who looked like me, tried to absolutely fucking decimate.
yeah, eradicate them because
Yeah.
they're not human either, apparently. It's
And they
like,
actually try to take care of the earth instead of
right. They
rob
actually
it
like, I don't
blind
know,
for
care
capitalism.
about the nature and world around them and learn how
Yeah.
their food works and cultivate it from the ground
Yeah.
with love.
I think about that a lot, especially we just obviously had Thanksgiving, and I just think about like how fucking just what is the thought process from white colonizers coming to the United States after indigenous people help them? They show them how to eat, they show them what they can eat. They're like, hey, don't eat that, you'll die. Like we'd like you to live. Like they're nice and opening, like for the most part. Not all of the tribes are like this, but a lot of them were. And then they're like, we should probably just kill them.
Look,
What? How does your brain work that way? They
when we've taken it to a whole different level, when these people literally helped you
Yeah.
learn how to not die and gave you everything, and they share their whole life and culture in town with you, and then just boom, blow your head off, chop your kids up, steal your babies, and teach them English
Yeah.
and God, and tell them that they're not worthy unless they look and sound just like you, and then still kill them because they're not
Anyways,
worthy.
later. Yeah.
It's like I hate blood, I hate gore. I don't like seeing human suffering. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is. Maybe it's just me being a
I'm
human,
the
not
same
liking
way.
humans die. But
Yeah.
I I just get so like grossed out by seeing people suffering. I don't see a lot of enjoyment to be had. I wish we wouldn't have to see so much human suffering just all the time. And that's how I base all of my policy proposals is how do we reduce the most human suffering? How do we put people first? How do we, that's one more part because we keep doing a
Yeah, we
lot of
keep doing
tangents.
Divergent. It's fine.
My
Yeah.
healthcare proposal, one of the parts of why we're taxing the rich so much is because a lot of that is just stolen wealth, period, point blank.
Yeah.
When you have 500 plus thousand people going bankrupt every single year, all these stupid ass healthcare companies and corporate executives and real estate companies, they're all working in tandem because
Yeah.
you lose your fucking house, you lose your entire livelihood because you broke your arm and couldn't afford it.
Right. You can't
Wow.
work anymore. Yeah.
Now you and your family is homeless, moving back in with your other family, and your house is on the market, and they buy that shit for the low ski because you
Yeah.
just foreclosed it. And then all of a sudden, there's a huge housing shortage and every house costs way more than before. Now, your life work, which is usually predicated in purchase of a home, it's all gone. And
Yeah.
you just have to start over from your bootstraps that they just fucking yanked from you. And I'm like, how about instead we have a pool of money specifically targeting every single bankrupt person that's gone through this system specifically, where there's all these healthcare vultures that have robbed us of all of our sweat equity, our hard work, our
Yeah.
time and dedication to something to build ourselves up, and have to reconcile with our whole lives being turned upside down. How about we do what we can to just give them all the money back and actually give them the floor that they built
Yeah.
back to them, and then they'll reintroduce into society, especially if they've already rebuilt themselves so much faster and so much better. Yes, it's an insane idea, but why the fuck not? If we were okay with some insurance CEO killing off their granddad and letting them go bankrupt, I
Yeah.
think we can also give them back their whole fucking livelihood. Because a lot of people go into depression, their mental health decline, their economic decline, their health in general probably decline. They probably now have their own issues, don't go to the hospital as much, they don't do it again.
And to
So
clarify, everything you just said, we're going to say it again for those listening who don't understand. Spending that kind of money to help people get back into society, and we should be doing this when people exit prisons as well, by the way, is an economic decision. Because when they're reintroduced into society, if you don't have an empathetic line in your brain or in your heart, fine, I'll make it about money. I don't fucking care. Those people will be more productive members of society in the way that you deem productive, air quotes, if we give them a tiny step up.
I mean, just their life back.
Just like,
for many people, that's a huge step up because they
it
didn't have
is.
that. But many people also didn't go bankrupt and lose their entire livelihood. And that happens to 500,000 people minimum every single year. You're telling me
Yeah.
500,000 people have to start over from ground zero just because they got sick? That's absolutely preposterous. And
So I also just learned that GM, when the company went bankrupt and they got the auto bailout from Barack Obama and his administration, they took everyone's pensions and they never gave them back.
that was, look, I unfortunately am heavily critical of Obama because I was learning about all the policies that he did pretty terribly. But I get a little nuance. He's the first black guy. So for number one, they're not going to let no black guy, especially the first one, have any type of powers to really do what he wants to do for his people if he's a good guy. And I believe ultimately Obama's a good guy, but he was lined up with corporate after corporate after corporate exec and big business and, all the top of the food chain guys that are like tapped into every circle, people that do almost exclusive work for corporations and corporate interests all across his administration, all across the entire Congress. And then just had racist Republicans that just hated him because he's black. He was like, we're not going to work with you, guy.
I think it's important to criticize every president. And a lot of people think that presidents are great people all the time. And like, I do think Obama's actually a good person. I think you're right. But like, we should be openly critical about things that went right and things that went wrong so that next time things are better.
Hearing that, because it broke the inspiration that he gave me as, one of those figures you can always look up to, one of those great orators, all this great thing. Hearing that when the crash happened and all those poor rednecks who, that I'm voting for the hard R, those people were in every way justified in not believing he was a good president for them because of the way the crash happened and he bailed out everyone that wasn't poor. Everyone lost everything. Housing crisis. Everyone's mortgages are up in flames.
Well, and the crash
are gone.
The crash had nothing to do with him.
Well, I know, but
I always tell people that exact same thing. I'm like, it's the way we respond to these crashes.
That's it.
All the time. It's not just one. It's not like we just bailed out the wealthy once. It's every
single time, and we do the same system. They ruin everything. They take all our money and then they light it on fire, and then they say, "Oh my God, what's happening? What's happening? Can I have all your money?" And then we say, "Here's all the money, and here's a complimentary lighter too."
We'll actually give it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, and they do it again. And then all the people over here were like, where's my money? They're like, you're one of the poorest talking? And we can't fathom a government right now, or really any time since we've been alive, where it's actually cared about us,
Yeah.
where we've actually been the first ones on their mind is the common everyday guy. And him bailing out the banks, showing every normal person that's lost their entire life that our government doesn't work for us. It works for whoever has the most money, whoever is the most tapped in, has the most connections, most networks, most wealth. And if you're a white guy, if you're a white guy, that's it. That's it.
It does. It really helps if you're like a white man named like John. Like that always, above like 55 or 60, you usually get pretty much whatever you want from the government, which is awesome. Sarcasm. So, talk to me a little bit about North Carolina's 5th district and what is going on. What is one issue you think is very specific to your district?
Number one, because we got so off topic, it's Virginia Fox. She's running
Virginia
this
Fox
district.
yeah,
of course, she's
yeah.
running the district. 82 years old, absolute slime ball, wicked witch of the West, most hated, one of the most hated representatives in Congress. She's absolutely gone viral multiple times for being so, like she was complaining. Someone brought up her 8-week paid vacation, and we're so glad you were here for us on vacation, enjoying your 4 houses and your $5.5 million net worth while everybody's about to lose healthcare. Anyways, one of the most pressing issues, I believe, is affordability across the board. And it goes across a wide array of issues to make that happen. Of course, there's certain sections of North Carolina that are being gentrified, like Charlotte,
Yes.
Raleigh. Is just absolutely unaffordable in any major city, but even outside of those major cities, even in Greensboro, we're hearing the same thing. Durham, we're hearing the same thing. It's just trickling down. Even our local electeds, they're just not stepping up to do the job that we need. They're not even mentioning this as an issue. They're not focused on it whatsoever. The pay is absolutely atrocious. Like I said, people are coming from other states thinking they're going to have a better life. And then they're like, this was actually kind of worse.
It's hard. I mean, it's also people don't understand how spread out North Carolina is. So
Yeah.
gas price, car, insurance, that's a lot of people are paying as much as their home costs in multiple
Yeah.
cars because people have to go different directions for jobs and there's no transit.
Many
Where the
people.
fuck is the transit?
Yes. Yes.
Like,
That
I'm in
look,
I'm in Charlotte right now recording this with you. And I'm like, where the fuck is the public transit around here?
y'all at least got a train, a little train, a little bus.
Goes up and down one. I've seen 2 buses.
I mean, look, you got a little something there. Can't complain too much. You're poor.
We're allowed to complain
My
as
bad.
much as we can. We should. Everyone, literally, people have been telling me like we just need to take the next Democrat that runs, and no, I'm like, no. Right now is the moment in time that we need to demand everything we've ever wanted. Like,
Yeah.
we need to be screaming about public transit. We need to be screaming about universal health care. We need to talk about building homes. And again, every single one of these, if you hate human beings, is an economic decision, and they are investments in the American future. And it's driving me fucking. I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah.
Insane.
Healthcare access. Yeah, no, healthcare access. Absolutely pivotal. We have a lot of healthcare deserts. Same thing, food deserts. I mean, a lot of people's closest store is probably a Dollar General, who's also being sued out the kazoo because of the way they're price gouging for even 10 cents, which adds up to hundreds of millions in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Some people's only access to food is through like Dollar General, and they're like just penny pinching everybody at the register. I think honestly, and I don't know how many people pay attention to it, but I think food quality, like I said, if there's a food desert, all you have is like these super hyper processed foods at Dollar General. That's your only things you can eat. You're probably going to start getting some kind of diabetes and high cholesterol and other things because much of that food is not even real. It's so low quality. Like Campbell's, I don't know if you heard about the guy basically saying I would never fucking eat this shit. I don't know who buys this. I would never buy that product for my kids. Well, he's the executive of the business. It's that bad. Like
Yeah.
he runs it. He knows how bad it is. We also have a lack of public infrastructure. Like a lot of our rural communities, only way you're able to get to them is by car. For
Right.
me to get to the other side of my district, I have to drive 2.5 hours to get to the very end of the district from where I'm at right now, which is the other side of the district. It's all car. So as gas prices are rising, as all the foolishness with world events are going on and they're just fluctuating.
Yeah.
Like I was in Florida, my gas from my 7-Eleven next to our Airbnb was 264. And the very next morning, I shit you not, 274. And then by the time we
Like, but
left, well, it went up to 291 on Jesus Christ and my Savior. 291 by the end of the week. That's less than 7 days.
that's
And so
insane.
260, and it was just fluctuating. As I'm
All
going
week.
by, I'm
Yeah.
looking at them, and it's like, how do you like prepare in an environment like this where nothing's stable? Nothing is how it's supposed to be. Nothing is set for you to just build up. You know what you're getting into. You don't. When you get to the register, you think you're getting the thing for $2.99. It's actually $3.55 because they changed it in the system. They
Yeah.
didn't update their price tags, and they don't really give a damn what you feel about it. They're not
Right.
open to negotiations. It's their business. There's no one telling them that they can't, unless one of you poors get one of those lawyers you can't afford and take me to court, and good luck winning.
That's the whole thing, right? Like our country is very litigious, and especially with ICE, I've seen a couple of people pull lawsuits, and it's being able to I think we need to create a mutual aid network of all lawyers who will just file suit for every single
Yeah,
person because they're not paying out all these wrongful suits, and they'll just drop charges. But it's every single person who's in this country right now needs a lawyer who can write up a suit.
I hate that these conversations always bring up another policy idea I have that makes you want to just yap for another 30
Keep
minutes.
going.
But I was thinking about how our whole system is predicated on, of course, the rich having all the resources. The rich provide the most money to any public defender job or any job serving the public in general. And so the alternative to public service and reinvesting in your community through government work actually becomes you working for a private equity or private corporation or just a mega conglomerate of some
Right.
sort. And you're doing work for all the worst offenders in the business because you make so much.
Yeah.
And our current system, we heavily underfund and underpay public defenders. So they're
Yeah.
dealing with 200, 300 cases, and they just basically pumping people out. And a lot of them actually don't even give you any legal advice. They're just like, basically plead guilty. That's the best
Well,
they
because
got for you.
they're like losing their minds, right? They're not getting paid
Yeah.
enough. They don't have enough resources. And sometimes it is plead guilty. Sometimes it's take the
Oh yeah, take the
you know,
plea, you can
take
get the
whatever they're
minimum
giving you.
sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and move forward. And you're like, well, yeah.
And
But
so if you
but
have
also no one can afford an attorney.
yeah, and if you don't have a particularly good idea of how to litigate yourself in some way, represent yourself very well,
And your life is on
and,
the line
and your
in
life is
some
on the
form
line.
or fashion. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's highly stressful. And
yeah,
it's like, you don't have any good legal advice or legal advisor to help you through this effectively. And I'm like,
yeah,
how do we flip this on its head to make sure that it's completely overly funded? And then people have expanded access, especially to tenant issues with
yes,
landlords and other
yeah,
things, because landlords can kick you out your house, and 90% of people don't even show up to court or don't have legal representation. And then of those that do have legal representation, 70% of the time, give or take, they can actually keep their housing. And
right.
so the very small that actually have access get to, fortunately, not get uprooted of their whole life. But for most people, that's not the case. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do we expand that? How do we give people opportunity again?
Again, it's an opportunity to keep your life, right? To
That's
keep
it.
it just a little bit stable. And so many states have different laws around this. Like in New York is a massive renter state, right? And so renters have a lot of protections, but I know some states like eviction processes can start if you're like 15 days late on rent, which
Yeah.
is not even a whole month, right?
I mean, some people, I'm
And
pretty
with some it's
sure
even 5.
I was late. I'm pretty sure I was late. Yeah, 5 days. And I
Oh,
got it in the mail.
I've been late so many times, but I live in New York. And also, guys, if you're going to be late on rent, call your landlord. Tell them you're going to be late. If they're not an absolute dick, you should be fine. But that's crazy to me. 5 days with an eviction notice.
Yeah. And it just sits on your door and it reminds you it's in a nice, like, bold
The
pink
little
or orange.
plastic
It's like,
container
yeah.
thing, so it can't get, yeah.
Make sure you pay your money or you'll get homeless. That's it.
And
The
this is the
conversation,
crazy
that's
thing,
where it
right? Like,
starts and ends.
when we're talking about this, it's less people get evicted in New York because you have to be late on, I think it's 2 or 3 months rent, right, in a row. So you have basically 90 days to get your life together, which is
Right.
great. That's a
Yeah,
huge help, and it relieves
that's
stress so
phenomenal.
much. And I think it even might be more than that. It might even be closer to 6 months, but I don't remember. But it's that kind of an extra 90 days right now is wonderful. But in reality, we need to be setting up systems, and we need to be demanding right now that the systems are set up so that landlords cannot, like, rob people blind with increases, evict people at willy-nilly. There needs to be so much more safety into it than just 90 days. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly. Unfortunately, I ask so many damn questions and I make a lot more work for myself, which I think is a good thing. But coming up with so many solutions to so many problems, like how do people let this shit get so bad? I'm even thinking of like random stuff in the grocery store or something, like some arbitrary rule where you can't do this or that. I'm like, somebody wrote that dumb shit. Somebody wrote that. When
Right,
have
right.
we given up all our power to like write our own rules, come up with things that are like, new and exciting, invigorating? When have we stopped dreaming of things that are bigger? Like our whole world is, and I talk about this with people a lot too. I was watching or listening to someone speak on this so eloquently. Our whole world's dictated and run by rules. Like we always talk about we're fighting for democracy, but what is democracy? It's this stupid ass old piece of paper some old white guys made and drafted up because they wanted us to be able to govern ourselves well. That's a bunch of words, and they're very well put together. A lot of thoughts. What 85 essays or something? Like they put a whole lot of work into that. Why do we not learn about that? Why do we not understand the gravity of literacy and the power of words? Why do they pretend like we don't have any voice when our voice is literally everything? Every piece of content online that makes people popular or viral, why is it viral? If it's not a video game, why is it viral? Someone said some shit that people really like to hear. And our words are extremely powerful. And it's like, when do we take hold of the reins again and teach our people that we need to be paying attention to the words that we speak, the words that we write, and the words that were written for us, and then rewrite them because what words apply one day does not always apply another day. And that's kind of like the philosophy I've been kind of working with. It's like, how do we rewrite everything? Because I don't like these fucking rules. They suck.
We don't like them, and they're absolutely harming the vast majority of Americans.
That's it. And
Okay, so
I hope that one day,
we're sorry, you say what you're hopeful for.
I hope that one day, as a result of the work I'm trying to put in today, the work that you're doing today to spotlight candidates like me, all of our people around the country have access to all these things that we're, praying for. And hopefully we'll have, an overwhelming amount of people that are highly educated, highly literate, and constantly fight. I don't want to stop with my healthcare proposal. Let's pretend that grand idea comes and my healthcare proposal gets put out in every way that I've asked. I hope that people don't just take it and then, okay, we won finally. And then that's it. Keep fucking fighting. Keep going.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you an inch. They'll roll it back at some point because they don't really care what you say or what you feel. And you're going to have to take every inch, every ground that you cede to them, they're going to take advantage.
Yeah.
How do we take it back and keep fighting?
That's government in a nutshell, and that's also all of United States history. We've already talked about this, right? People just continuously fight for what they want in this country. And the cool thing is they get it. It just, we have to organize and takes time. And I'm hopeful that exactly what you said comes true. So we're coming up on time. We've got 2 segments left. Will you start by telling everybody where they can find you, your website, and all of your social medias, etc.?
My name is Kyah Creekmore, Kyah, and then Creekmore, CREEKMORE.org. I want my name to be associated with good knowledge and good ideas. And hopefully people don't look for Congress, because it's not about Congress, it's about the movement and me helping be a part of that. You can find me on my socials, Kyah for Congress. It's where you can find how I'm trying to spread my word. Kyah for Congress on Instagram, on TikTok, Kyah Creekmore on Facebook, Kyah Creekmore on Twitter, Kyah for Congress on Threads.
Amazing. Okay. Are you ready? This is our rapid fire segment of questions. Are you ready?
Shoot.
Okay. Are you a coffee, tea, or another type of caffeine drinker?
I do love coffee. Frappuccinos is the best. I'll be real. I'm a kind of a plain guy. I just don't care about Frappuccino, but
So cute.
I try different stuff.
Okay. Are you a morning person or an evening person?
I definitely stay up many sleepless nights, just up. Lately, because of Congress and stuff, I've been having to get up a lot earlier, but I just stay up all night, like 5, 6, 7 a.m. Just barely start yawning. It's bad.
The energy. I love it. If you had to eat one meal every day for a year, what would it be?
Look, it might be really black of me, but fried chicken. Look,
It's
fried
first
chicken.
of all, it's
There's
just
so
I
many
think
ways
it's
to eat
maybe a
fried chicken.
Southern thing because
Maybe it's Southern, but look, fried chicken.
it's when it's done right, I could eat it every day.
And there's so many ways to fry some chicken.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to just be a nice, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
drumstick.
I got a fried chicken sandwich from a restaurant in New York City, and it was so bad that I sat at the table and I fucking cried. It was so nasty. And I'd been on the hunt for a fried chicken sandwich for a week, and I tried it, and I was just and just sat there and lightly wept. I was having a really hard week, and the guy was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "This is the grossest thing I've ever had." And I was like, "I'm so sorry. I have to leave."
That's so funny.
It was awful. Okay. What was the last book that you read?
I'll be real, I haven't finished an entire book. I don't know if it's my undiagnosed ADHD that I don't have access to healthcare to diagnose. But my favorite book, which one? Yeah, Hidden Potential. That
Hidden
one,
Potential.
yes, it's so damn good. And I've not even read majority of the book, but for what I have, it's it redefines what you think of as it's like special. Like who becomes the best? It's not the people you think just were geniuses out of the box or they were just like super athletically gifted. It's the people that just enjoyed what they did the most and worked the hardest to get there. They were starting from extremely average positions in life. They might have been like a soccer player who, barely got on their high school team, but because they loved it, like they genuinely loved it. And this is why I want to do all this hard work. The people have opportunity to get in the things
Yeah.
they love. They just kept building and building and building until they were the very best ever. And those are the people that go on to win all the awards. Those are the people that are Olympic gold medalists. Those are the people that are doing like the craziest things in life. They started so average, just like us. They would have been your classmate. And then
Yeah.
who would have knew? But they loved something and they just kept working.
It's crazy. So it's crazy how much doing something that you actually enjoy doing, whether you're good or bad at it, is going to affect your potential in it, because
Yeah.
people stop when they're bad at things. They're like, I don't want to keep trying. And it's, well, everyone was bad at everything at some point.
Look, me personally, why that hits so hard is because everything I'm doing in public service, I'm pretty average. I'll be real. just average.
Yeah.
And I enjoy coming up with policy that sounds like a fucking utopia. I like hearing people's stories because they motivate you and they make you stay grounded in why you're doing this work. And also that I don't have all the background criteria that most people would say qualify you. And I think that's an extraordinary part. Well, if this kid, some random ass little utopia building little kid, the story builder, can do all of this, run for Congress, what can I do?
Right.
Just have a master's degree in psychology. What can I do? You can do a lot.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it enough. Find it enjoyable enough to do it like work, outside of work. And you can do whatever you have your mind on.
We've got one more question. What's your favorite thing about North Carolina's 5th Congressional District?
I think the diversity. I think although everyone cries and complains, bitches and moans about gerrymandering, I think honestly, the only reason that we bitch and moan and worry about it is because no politicians or government officials or anybody right now understand how much your words impact. And Afton Bain, okay, she changed the public narrative. Oh, it's plus 22. It's crazy.
Yeah.
She got that thing with the mismargin.
Right.
All by
Right.
having words different than your typical politician, talking about things that people actually care about. They're not as far removed as you might think. We're all going through pretty much the same thing. We might disagree on how to get to the same goal.
Yeah.
Well, ultimately, people just want better for their kids, a safer, more well-funded schools. I mean, clean food, access to food, better jobs. I mean, that's not that damn hard. People want the basics. And
It's
if you're
literally,
actually
it's not
trying,
rocket science.
if you're
Yeah.
trying to deliver, if you have an argument to actually argue, if you're not just pretending to care about these things, you actually have a plan for them, people will listen. If you have a vision for something and you can put people in behind your eyeballs to see that vision, if you have the oration skills you're trying to build in order to fulfill them hopping into your shoes for a moment to see the
Yeah.
vision through, you can do it. I believe that diversity of rural to pretty urban, like in Boone and Greensboro, I think that's awesome. And then between it's just rural. And me going between them and seeing how much different life is outside of a city, I think it's awesome. I've been taking in all the scenery. I've never been out of my cities very often.
Yeah.
Usually it's only to go to another big city, to go
Yeah.
where we traditionally think is fun and
Yeah.
where all the resources and opportunity is. But seeing all the life outside of that, where people just, they go and settle down, they're, 45 minutes out. And they're just living a calm, casual life. I think that's awesome. And having that diversity makes it so much easier to make sure that the policy I'm building works for everybody because I have everybody.
Yeah. Actually, that's a really great point. And I think that's the perfect spot to wrap things up. Everyone, again, this is Kyah Creekmore. He's running in North Carolina's 5th Congressional District. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. Please
And
be in.
make sure you check out his website, kyahcreekmore.org. Right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Thank you for following The Foolish Optimist. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, pretty much. We're going to be dropping new episodes every Wednesday, and you can watch the video episodes on YouTube. If you would like to, please give us a review, leave comments. You can also email us at thefoolishoptimistpodcast@gmail.com. If you see any really great candidates that I should be talking to, send them my way. Thank you.